I'd like to introduce you to Ilolo. I had the pleasure of meeting Ilolo 2 weeks ago on my trip to Togo, Africa. She's a soft-spoken, loving 15-year-old finishing her freshman year in high school. Her father is retired and her mother is a local merchant, meaning their family's income is barely enough to support their 6 children. Her house is 10 kilometers from school, so she walks nearly 20 kilometers a day just to receive her education. Her family cannot afford to send her with 20 cents a day for lunch, so she typically goes hungry. Each year, her family is forced to sell some of their limited belongings to afford Ilolo's $10 tuition and $12 required school uniform. It's difficult to imagine, but Ilolo is one of the lucky girls whose parents have committed to her education. Unfortunately, for nearly 17 million African young women, this is not the case. And around the world, 62 million girls are not in school. While in Togo, I researched the many barriers girls face in gaining an education. I quickly discovered that lack of financial means for tuition, textbooks, and required school uniforms is just one of the issues that threatens every girl's ability to stay in school. Without an education, girls lack the skills necessary for work, but more importantly, they are predestined for a life of poverty, hunger, disease, childhood marriage, and even slavery. My name is Peyton McGriff, and I'm the founder of Style Her Empowered, a nonprofit organization that empowers young women in developing countries by providing greater access to education with sponsored school uniforms and sewing training programs. Our model combines financial aid with skills training to place girls at the center of their own development, creating a more sustainable model than one that focuses solely on financial aid. We empower young girls by teaching them to sew their own uniforms, providing them with the necessary resources, skill set, and confidence to obtain an education and determine their own future. You might be asking, why uniforms? Uniforms provide several benefits to students in terms of creating equalizing effects and promoting positive student behavior. But while some governments have taken steps to eliminate school fees and provide school textbooks, the cost of a uniform remains a significant barrier. If a girl cannot afford a uniform, she will be turned away from school. If her uniform is ripped or torn, she will be sent home. If her uniform is dirty because she only has one and cannot wash it frequently, she'll be asked to leave. In speaking with junior high and high school students, it became clear this is an all too common occurrence. A $12 uniform is often all that stands between a child and her education. Though the impact of providing school uniforms is dependent on cultural factors in selected countries, a study in Kenya showed that providing school uniforms can increase attendance rates by as much as 43%. Test scores also improved significantly following the introduction of sponsored school uniforms. Style Her Empowered has secured partnerships with the University of Idaho and Washington State University to develop teaching platforms for our pilot She Togo project. We are working with ICPSD, a nonprofit organization headquartered in Togo, Africa, to launch our pilot project this July. We have raised over $4,000 through crowdfunding and grants to support the research in Togo to assure that our project is culturally relevant and scalable. We are seeking $15,000 in initial seed funding to launch our pilot project this summer. We invite you to join us as we move into the next phases of development and open the door to opportunities for girls like Ilolo. Thank you.